committed.
He ran a qualifying 5K time to make the New Zealand Olympic team, didn't end up getting selected. He's so quick over these distances. Vince is putting in absolutely everything behind him, but it's not going to be enough. The Falcon is going to fly in London. A race win and a round win for Hayden Wild of New Zealand. Wow. What a moment and how much it means to him. Ahead of Vincent Lewis. Is this a changing of the guard? What a moment.
So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I have with me Hayden Wild, the winner from the last Super League Triathlon Series race here in London. Thought it'd be cool to sit down with him, do a kind of a casual interview, kind of see who he is, his thoughts on tips and things for triathlon, kind of how he goes about it. Welcome to the channel.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be. I'm a long time follower, first time honourer, I guess, onto the channel. So looking forward to a good chat.
No, it's awesome to have you. Yeah, something different from here. So I'm probably going to do something like this maybe every week after each race. Something cool, something different. So we're going to head on straight to kind of the basics. You know, kind of why you started triathlon and started to how you got started in triathlon.
Yeah, so I kind of started multi-sport. So in New Zealand, it's like massive. So orienteering. So you run around literally in the forest because we don't have any things that want to kill you like in Australia. So we literally just go for 6 hours in a bush and then we find checkpoints, and that's what I used to do when I was a kid. And from there it kind of progressed into multi-sport. So if people and they're kind of like, I hit the pinnacle in New Zealand. So after like some 24-hour races and some of the biggest races in New Zealand, you kind of just hit the top of the ceiling. So I wanted to push that and go a bit further. So through my high school kind of days, I got kind of pushed into exterior that I was like, I didn't really get pushed into that. It's like, I'll give this a go. So I got literally chucked into the deep end, have never ever swum in my life. And I was like, I was going to do this. It's only a kilometre long because the Rotorua exterior, I think it's one of the shorter swim courses. So I was like, boom, kilometre, hit that out. And then it's like an awesome single trail ride. It's like 35k through the Rotorua. Redwoods, and then it's a 11k run, so somehow survived the swim, and then just found the love of exterior from there, and went to Maui a couple times for world champs, and kind of hit that pinnacle again of being a junior in that sort of era. But I've watched Rio in 2016, watched guys like yourself, and really kind of wanted to be there myself. So then, moved on to ITU, and 4 years later, went to Tokyo and got myself a medal, and been recognised through Super League and whatnot. So it's been quite a journey in the last 5-6 years of like kind of going from a kid that was just like running and orienteering and going through the bushes and finding checkpoints to being a full-time athlete. So it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, that's quite a while coming from the off-road scene to kind of the road scene, and you've kind of seen that in like on the cyclocross scene. You've seen that kind of a bit. Guys like Matteo van der Poel and Wout van Aert and those guys coming across to the road scene, doing pretty well. And so you kind of fit in that kind of in the same mold, like they're a little bit like kind of a bit woolly on the outside, but then when you get to the nitty gritty, you can really get it done.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like you just watch those guys. They come from cyclocross, which is it's massive, and obviously you're mostly based in Netherlands, and I'm usually based in Belgium with my partner, and it's just huge there. But it's not massive if you kind of look outside the scale. But those athletes are like insanely talented, and then you can just see how they cross from road cycling to mountain biking. Van der Poel just kills it not only on the cyclocross and road cycling on the single stages, but also does pretty damn well on the World Cup circuit. So I guess I kind of see myself like as a multi-sporter, but then kind of branched out to off-road exterior and then onto the on-road. So kind of, as you said, it's quite similar.
Yeah, quite like diverse, and I think it's always good to have kind of a good mixture of those things. Keep it fresh, keep it fun. Yeah. That's kind of one thing we can lead on to that. It's kind of onto the Super League. From this past weekend's race, you picked up like your first win at the Super League Series, Championship Series here in London, and kind of how did it pan out? How did the first event go? How did it end up panning out for you?
Yeah, it planned out quite well. The triple mix has always been kind of suited to my favour. Yourself and I, like, we don't really favour ourselves in the swim, but since the swim's mixed up in different areas, it kind of gives us a bit more opportunity to really be a lot more, aggressive. In that first kind of run where we do the run, swim, bike, or however it goes. Yeah, like, I wanted to be really aggressive at the start. I want to get that short shoot.
Point, he's looking to see where he is. He wants to get this short shoot, helmet off, and he's going to get it.
Looks good, looks good.
Got the short shoot off Vincent, so I was like, okay, he's got one. Vincent doesn't have one, because I know if Vince had one, I was gonna be in trouble. So I really had to be aggressive on that bike, and from the get go, even the day before, I was aiming to actually get that little gap in the bike and to get that short shoot, and yeah, it worked a lot better than I actually anticipated. Just put a bit more effort on that first part, and then got that short shoot. Took that next run easy, because I knew after we finished that round, we're going into the second round straight into a run, and I knew Alex was going to put the pressure on that first run, and so we did, and it really strung out the field. We got on the bikes, and then just try to be really aggressive on the bike as well, or just try and block as much as I can, and then got onto the swim and just pretty much just had to hold on that deficit, because I knew Vince, Johnny and those boys were probably going to put some time into me, but I just had to hold it and see how far I could go, and kind of surprised myself, jumping out like 8 seconds back, which for me is a pretty damn good effort compared to those other boys in the water, because at the moment Vince is swimming like an absolute fish. Yeah, then coming into the last round, 8 seconds back, I know I had to put a pretty big shift into the first bike, and
Wilde's got him. He's got on.
Wild is on the back.
What a lap
we go.
by Hayden Wild.
One
what
of
a
the
lap.
best bikers in the field by far.
And just put down as much power. I didn't even worry about getting myself into the shoes, just head down and just hit the corners as hard as I could, and that's where I kind of mostly made 2-3 seconds up, was that first kind of chicane degree turn there, and so I was surprised I caught them because I just saw how much effort they were putting in, and really attacked that climb, and that's kind of how I got onto them from there, and then knowing I had the swim next, I actually kind of stitched myself up, because I was just so focused that I forgot what lap I was on. It was actually lucky the boys were in front of me coming to transition, because I was like, why are they taking their shoes off? There's still a lap to go. And then they fully got out of their shoes, and I was like, oh crap, we're actually getting off the bike now, because the plan was to actually maybe get into transition first, or get a little bit of a gap just before jumping into the water, so I wouldn't have that deficit. But yeah, kind of did a bit of an error there, and we jumped in all together. And I knew that Vince was going to go hard, and I knew that Johnny wanted his feet, so I was like, well, there's no point in us fighting. I'll let him just get those feet, and then I'll get onto him. So it kind of actually gave me 4 or 5 seconds of a bit more rest, so I can just sit on the hip and then get onto the feet. And then it came out 5 seconds, and everyone was like, oh, he's probably going to take the short shoot straight away, but I was like, oh, if I take it and cut that now, I know Vince is going to come back pretty hard. So I was like, I'm just going to claw back as much as I can in this first lap, and the second lap use it, and really got on the toes, got up to the boys at about 700 metres, and then just try to get ready for that short shoot, went for it, and got the short shoot, and then just held on for dear life.
Here we go.
And Hayden
Now he's going to
is
commit.
into the lead. And that is what the short shoot can do for you.
And then I know I was kind of in the last 300 metres, and I looked at the big screen, and I saw Vincent, and he was coming like a madman, and his arms were swinging hard, and I was like, oh man, here he comes. I was lucky just to hit that black, when I hit the black carpet, I knew I had it from there, but when I turned around that short shoot, I was like, oh, it could be anyone's game at the moment. So stoked to take my first ever series, I guess, series win. I've taken a day stage before, but never a big one, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool to see the short shoot thing, because I mean, it's kind of like controversial sometimes, the short shoot, but then it's like, if it wasn't there, like the race would have been maybe pan out slightly differently,
Yeah.
maybe not. I mean, kind of going head to head with the Vince at a sprint is like,
Yeah.
I mean, not many people want to go into that.
I would have done the Christian and Christian Blumenfeld, and I would have attacked early. Cool.
Yeah, no, I think it was very cool to watch and comment, you know, too, and seeing some parts where obviously your feet weren't even like strapped in your shoes at one stage, like one foot in, another foot was
Going
like
through the cobbles,
kind of on the outside. Yeah, it looked, it was good viewing. It was pretty cool to watch. It was something completely different, and yeah, it made it really exciting to like kind of nail biting towards the finish. 5 tips that you would give anyone that kind of is maybe new to triathlon, or maybe a pro side of things, or you know, this is what you might do. You don't have to give all, you know, your specialties away.
Yeah.
That's cool, you know, but you know, just some basics, you know, that people can, you know, at home can go ahead and try.
Yeah, I guess like you know, if you're coming up new to triathlon and you don't really know kind of what to do, I guess my biggest tips, I guess more kind of looking at how I would set up transition or, you know, prepare for a race. I'd say my tip 1 would be always, if it's a wetsuit swim, always bring baby oil. Just get it inside your wetsuit so it comes off a lot easier. And there's a lot of athletes that do that at the moment, but if you're starting off, it's always a great tip just to get that wetsuit straight off. And then also the baby powder again. I usually use that in both shoes, bike and running shoes. Yeah, and also I do apply a little bit of Vaseline if you do use the Nikes or any sort of shoe. I normally put that in the on the heel and also around the arch. I know that there's a little bit of issue when you run without socks. I do get blisters here, but if I put Vaseline there, it actually wipes that away, which has been, you know, fantastic. If you're doing Olympic distance run and you start getting blisters, it's not ideal. And then the way I do my rubber bands as well, tip 3 would be, if you want a fast transition, would be chuck those rubber bands on. Normally put one around my bottle cage, so it just pretty much puts it perfectly straight. And then the back one usually goes on the back axle, so it's just like perfectly flat, so you can jump on and if you go. And always have duct tape, because you never know what could happen. I know there's been a few races where I've had some mechanicals. I should have duct taped a few things on. You never know when you need it. You can tape your gels on. You can, if you need a quick little repair, you can tape everything up. So probably be my top tips for heading into it. And probably the biggest thing would probably be just to enjoy it. Like you don't do the sport to not like it. Like it's a sport of suffering, but you know, you got to enjoy it somehow. So I think that's why we kind of do it.
Definitely agree with that. I think the fun factor of things is super important, and you know, to enjoy doing it. I think some people get like so worked up with so many different things that you kind of lose track of the fun of it.
Yeah.
So it's always good to just remember that it's like, you know, you're doing it. You know, if you're not a professional, obviously. There's only a small few that are professionals, but the majority of people go out there and do it for fun.
Yeah, and I think for us as athletes, you know, you're always fighting for like points for the Olympics and whatnot. But Super League is what I really find great about it. It's just the environment for the pros that we have here. It's just so relaxed. I think, you know, there's no pressure from federations, and it's just a real good time. I think, and everyone's just here to enjoy triathlon, because I think, you know, if you do Super League and you don't enjoy it, I think you should probably quit. But yeah, like, you know, there's obviously what Super League do, they obviously make the corporate events and the age group events, but hopefully when COVID passes, that can all start up again and not just let us race. So I know in Jersey, they normally have a pretty awesome junior race there too, so I know the juniors kind of really enjoy racing, so hopefully we can kind of get that racing back in.
But that should about wrap it up. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the couch.
Yeah, the couch is very comfortable. I might just you know, pull in a bed for this evening, you know. But yeah, it's been great chatting to you, and yeah, best of luck for following upcoming races.
Cheers, mate. Look at that.
Thanks, mate.
No dramas.
I was wondering my battery was going to die. I was like,